Oh, Denmo.
The king in the north!
But we're still out here having a fucking good time because there's fucking queens!
Jack Denmo inspired me to come to McMaster.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Jack Denmo podcast. Today I'm joined by a good friend here, Phil Demers. He's been featured in the Toronto Star, CTV London, our good boy Joe Rogie, and many lawsuits from our friends at Marineland. Buddy, welcome to the show.
You forgot the GQ article, bro. GQ, I was proud of that one.
Buddy, GQ, more like Men's Fitness. This dude's jacked. Low key, he's like shredded and, looks like he's been fighting MMA for years.
Stress is a hell of a diet.
Is that what it is, you think?
Yeah. It's stress and my transition from drinking too much alcohol to drinking more coffee and smoking more pot.
Okay. I was going to say, you're like the opposite of the dad bod,
But I still do the dad stuff, though. I mean, you know this.
You ever surfed?
Served time? What are you saying when you say
surf? No, like surfboarding, like surfing.
Surf. I thought you said served. I'm like, wow, we're going right into like
in the military
jail time. I tried surfing in Mexico, and I couldn't do it. And it blows my mind because I'm an athletic guy and I've always been able to do things and I have pretty good balance. Whatever step one is, I can't get to it. I feel like I'm trying to jump into step 2 and 3, and I think like number 1 is the most important one. I don't have that.
Yeah, standing up's very hard, man. I got my ass absolutely handed to me surfing out in Whistler, on Vancouver Island. Yeah, there's a lot of surfing out there. It's the only place in Canada you can surf. So
surf, snowboard the same day.
Yeah, the Holy Trinity: surf, ski, and snowboard.
Did you get up?
In one day. Yeah, I got
Stood
up.
Up?
Yeah, it was hard. Got up a couple times. Yeah.
Well, you're tall. You got that advantage there. You get to
you
get
think that helps
deeper,
for surfing?
Yeah, you get to get to the deeper waves. I'm only knee high, and I'm like, that's it. I got like.
So before we started this, it's funny because we had to wait a little bit before getting the pod going. I feel like we've already talked for like an hour about some heavy shit. We were talking about something that I think a lot of you guys watching are going to find really interesting. Is that Phil here actually used to go to homecomings.
That's right.
Yeah, tell us about that.
I was semi-professional. Well, I didn't go to university, so I'm not a university-educated person. So while I was at home employed and just working, it meant my weekends were really free. And I wasn't the only person not university-educated or not attending university in my age group, whereas all of my friends were. Mm-hmm. So we very often did I suppose what you would call the rounds. We were just always between Ottawa and London and Hamilton, and we're all over the place. But I did tell you of one homecoming I went to in London, Ontario. We went
Western Hoco.
Western, yeah, the football game, the whole works.
You went to the game.
I went to
crazy.
The game.
Nobody cares about the game anymore.
So this is so assume if I'm 43 today, that's 20 plus years ago. That was like it didn't mean anything to me, but it did mean something to them. There was a whole lot of people at that stadium, nonetheless.
Holy shit.
But so we decided on, so I'll tell you a quick story about that particular weekend. So we decided we're going to go from the small town of Welland in southern Ontario. We're going to go down to London homecoming to visit our friends. And we decided a local friend of ours, so someone that was well known in the small city and that we knew as well, was like, hey, I'd like to come with you guys. We're like, yeah, sure. And we sort of like endearingly called him the loose cannon because he was just one of these guys who was a loose cannon. So we're like, all right, we're going to London, Ontario. We're going to go enjoy, we're going to go party for the weekend. Yeah, sure. So he hops in and we lost him. We didn't get to London and the door opens and you heard, when you hear a noise and you look back and there's like someone missing, like the door was open, shut. We look, loose cannon's gone. Okay. See ya. I suppose he probably knows where he's going.
Just ran right into the woods, eh?
Gone.
Fuck.
We leave Sunday morning and we see like a stumble drunk spinning in circles, loose cannon. Yeah. And we're like, all right, we're going home. We're like, bro. And it was a matter of timing and luck that we found him. But sure shit, the loose cannon made good on his, on what we anticipated, which was a pure weekend of mayhem. We never saw the guy. And he slept the whole ride home, so no one really knows what the hell happened. But
holy fuck. Did he tell you what happened?
I don't even know the guy that well. Like I said, I say friend, but it's a friend because when you're driving down the street, you see him all the time, right? Sort of in and around.
There's something kind of sick about that, like when you're in your early 20s and you just kind of go on the rounds and hit all these different parties every weekend for like several weeks because there's Hocos for about 2 months.
Is it 2 months?
Yeah, pretty much.
So I only remember that particular one. I don't remember Hocos being that. Well, mind you, you're a franchise guy at this point. You are Hoco, so you pay particular attention. It's like if you were to ask me a question about Marineland, you'd say, well, I'm surprised there's all this information out there that you know about. Well, that's my jam. True. So you're the Hoco jam.
Yeah,
and that's pretty cool.
King of Hoco.
It's funny because I thought, when you asked me to come on the show, And I thought, the interesting parallels between you and I is that we're both semi-professional shit disturbers.
I guess so.
You
That's
might want
kind
to
of
put
cool.
that on your resume. It's like,
Yeah.
it's not completely professional, but it's semi-professional.
Yeah.
I like that.
Same ends to the same means.
I mean, you have a good heart. You're looking to do a good thing. Society doesn't necessarily like it, but you know what I've thought is Hoko is something that's been celebrated forever. I personally was there 20 years
You
ago.
went to fucking Hoko,
Dude,
yeah.
there wasn't the cancel culture back then, so it wasn't like we were making the news all the time. It was just one of those things of kids being kids, and then it was what it was. It was just what it was. It wasn't the threat of cancel or the threat of
cancel culture's here trying to cancel
yeah,
Hoko.
you're not criminals necessarily. Now, flipping a car could be construed as criminal activities, granted, but it's part and parcel of being young and having a crazy time.
Oh yeah, once the car was flipped, we were like, fuck, like we have to condemn the shit out of this. We
Things
have to make
get
sure
real
nobody
very
flips a
quick.
car after this. I mean, in Vancouver, remember when the Canucks lost? I believe it was them. Yeah, and then
that's right.
They started flipping and torching cop cars.
That couple did the makeout kiss in the middle of the street. You ever see that? Went viral.
No.
They're making out in the middle of the street while there's like flames burning and a bunch of cops.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, celebrate. Yeah, they've set up nicely for them.
That'd be a sick video, yeah.
But like the
Did they have day kills back then?
so this is new to me. So I watched a little bit of your videos and I see you. This is a thing where so in my day.
Yeah.
Now to be fair, I always had just girlfriends after girlfriends. So this just it wasn't my world. But this idea of double kill and day kills and this and that, dude, I hear you talking about this and I hear the people talking about celebrating and inviting and looking for this shit. I'm like, we didn't have that. I mean, at least we didn't. Maybe I didn't know about it. And and now I'm starting to talk like a dad. To be fair, I get it, but I just don't remember that stuff. No day kills and all that stuff. It wasn't a sport for us.
So,
then. I don't
pretty
know.
much like a sport.
It wasn't a sport. It wasn't exercise
Like
for
hunting.
us. Yeah, it wasn't fishing.
Yeah, so a day kill essentially is basically just a kill during the day, but it's at some kind of like outdoor event or activity. So like if you bang your girlfriend at 2 p.m, it's not a day kill.
Oh, it's got to be a public performance of sorts, exhibition.
Yeah, well, like behind a shed, in a bathroom, or someplace. Like it's like a one-night stand during the day, pretty much.
But you said girlfriend.
No,
So anyone.
anybody can be the gay. Well, it's more preference to strangers, like a one-night stand kind of thing.
That's crazy.
I guess you could get a day kill with your girlfriend, but like, come on.
Kind of boring, isn't it?
Yeah, you get multiple day kills in a weekend.
Okay. Well, I'm the boring one at the table then.
Well, people are savages now, right? Because the thing that's cool about day kill is it's a way to very directly be like, hey, would you like to hook up, pretty much. So it's like skips a lot of bullshit.
So this is a standard thing though these days, is hooking up is just a regular ass thing now. And so again, so to me, and it might just be me, and maybe I'm old school in that, but I just don't recall a time when it was just so overtly celebrated or even like participated in. Like, I mean, I got stories and I've heard things, but this thing of like day kills where it's like the rules are set out and it's like, oh no, I'm going for day kill. It's like, oh, me too. Well, shall we murder each other?
It's
okay.
a mission. Yeah,
and then,
it's a mission.
Dude, it's so crazy. I take nothing of the era I grew up in. I don't want to change when I grew up, how I grew up.
What did they call it back then? Like, what would be the equivalent of a kill? Like, what's
making
the term?
love. Open mouth kissing and making love at the same time while looking deeply into each other's eyes and
there's a
staying
couple terms.
uniquely committed to each other
like
for years
notches,
to come.
kills.
So there might have been something like that.
Bodies.
It wasn't a sport for us. Mind you, at the time, we were more obsessed with and to be fair, when I was friends growing up with girls, I was friends with them. I even still to this day remain.
Oh, I'm friends with girls too.
Right.
Yeah. Not every girl is a kill. That's a big misconception people get wrong.
So in that, I was more friends with a lot of these girls. So and because I came from a place called Welland, it's a very small town.
No, my buddy actually, he lives in Hamilton, but he has a family member that lives in Welland. So he puts that he lives there so that he pays half as much car insurance, allegedly. I'm very familiar with Welland.
Dude, I should go back with my mom's address and save some bucks on my
Phil,
my insurance.
it's a
I
good
know
idea,
Niagara
buddy.
Falls, and it ain't doing me any favors.
Yeah, so Niagara Falls, man, I filmed out there a couple times, and
down by the falls or with the people.
Oh, like right around the fucking Ferris wheel and all that.
Yeah, cool.
Right around the casinos. Yep. And one of the security guard ladies came over to me and she's like, hey, like you guys got to be careful here because the police are corrupt and they will beat the shit out of you if you're fucking around. So have you experienced anything like that, or do you think she's just capping?
I only today learned what capping and no capping meant. I looked it up.
Okay.
So I'm glad that you used that.
There you
Cap,
go. Good
I
example.
think. So the benefit I have is if there is a corrupt Niagara Regional Police,
Yeah.
I benefit from them. So I'll just leave it at that. I'll leave it at, if that's in fact the case, I would leave it at, I don't want that to change.
Oh, okay.
And whereas you would think that I would be a public enemy, and to a certain extent in that within that department of.
I think it's more so like there's casino influence, some kind of mafia presence. But Marineland, Niagara Falls has a long history, and Marineland actually, if we get into it, Marineland has a history, and much of it is discussed in the of mafia
in that realm. Yeah, nothing that I particularly want to provide too much detail into. I've got enough fucking problems.
Yeah,
but there was a time when I would have been dealt with differently, for sure, in Niagara Falls. For sure, there's no question that there is a long, rich history of. You want to use the term mafia, or that's just the familiar and comfortable term that people use, and it's probably the right one, but for me, it's just not what I use. But is there a long history of corruption, if you will, in Niagara? Yeah, there's a rich history of things. I mean, we also have a history of lighting boats on fires with live animals on it to put it over the falls to draw attraction, or to be an attraction.
When did that happen?
Niagara Falls is founded on being a freak show. So back in the, I want to call it early 1900s. Yeah, okay. That's how Niagara Falls would attract people.
So I know it's the Buffalo border, so you got Americans coming all over. But tell me about this fucking. They took animals and lit them on fire.
You can go back in the history of and do a simple Google search, and there's even a poster. And what they did is they loaded a barge of sorts with a bunch of wild animals of different sorts, and they literally let it go over the falls, and people would flock down from all over to watch this event.
Holy shit!
Yeah. But remember, it's no different than people walking over tightrope over the falls. And all these things.
That's true.
Really, Niagara Falls. They've got a magic show there. They've got the Marineland. Whereas in the past they had them doing funky tricks.
There's a lot of wars fought there too.
There's a Battle of Chippewa. I live in Chippewa, and there's the Battle of Chippewa that's only around the corner, 1812, if I'm not mistaken. I probably am. But there's a whole bunch of. There's a lot of weird energies and spirits, if you will, for sure. Damn. I feel sometimes that I've been summoned from some of them. I feel almost like much of my fighting spirit has come from some culture that, even unbeknownst to me,
some kind of aura there, right?
Yeah, like a stubborn sort of evilness that I can't quite shake.
Niagara to me, like everybody my generation, basically as soon as they get a girlfriend and they want to take her out, the thing is to go to Niagara for the weekend.
Of course it is.
They get the little fucking hotel view, and then they put the video of the falls out the window.
I have an Airbnb in Niagara. I know exactly what goes on. My basement is a short-term cottage rental.
Day kills.
Several day kills get slaughtered and murdered to my benefit and profit in my basement.
Well, at least those are appropriate kills going on in Niagara.
They're
compared
approved. I approve. I do click approve before accepting them, so it's not like I haven't sanctioned it.
So you're in your early 20s. You're doing the circuit, fucking around, hitting hocos with the boys, and you didn't go to university, you didn't go to college necessarily, and then you just kind of somehow managed to find something you were interested in, just quadruple the fuck down on it. So tell me about that.
Sure.
I'm kind of curious your origin story.
I will. So I went to school. So I graduate high school, and I haven't the slightest clue what I want to do. I mean, not much has changed. Not much has changed even today, frankly. But I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I at the time was playing in bands. I enjoyed skateboarding and bullshit like that.
You're in a band, really?
Yeah, I played in bands. Yeah, I did good in bands.
What'd you play?
Well, so I'll get to it.
Okay.
So I was playing in bands then. Nothing that it was sort of pre-internet, so nothing that would have stood out as being successful, but level of success that we were opening up for some Canadian big names and stuff, and so we would go on small tours and stuff. It was great. Actually, further to it, I did play in a band called Sonic Elvis. You can go on YouTube, and it was my original band, the one that I was talking to prior to my starting to work at Marineland, and we coupled with or we teamed up with an Elvis tribute singer of our age. He was a young guy.
So you must have been able to fucking just pipe, eh?
This guy's good. Yeah, he was winning all the tournaments,
battle the bands, all that
he was
shit.
doing all this stuff. So we took him on,
Nice.
and because we were sort of punk and everything else, we called ourselves Sonic Elvis, and we put an asterisk next to it saying it ain't Elvis. So it was like Sonic Youth. You probably are familiar
I know
with.
Sonic Youth.
Okay, so it was Sonic Youth meets Elvis. So people would do
sounds
acid.
like a fucking train wreck.
Yeah, you'd do acid, come by, we'd go through 50, 60, 70 set, and you'd just be out of your mind. So it was
That
a good
sounds
time.
fucking
But we toured
cool.
Europe, and there's a bunch of videos and stuff. We did good. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
fucking sick.
Yeah, we did quite good.
Europe must have been a time back in the day, eh? When the borders were all open.
So that would have only been 2009, I think we did that. Maybe 2008, 2009 we did that. So it wasn't that long ago, but it was great. Switzerland, I mean, how often do you go there? My birthday, I was standing under the Eiffel Tower, drinking a Heineken, being like, what is life that this bum, is You know, like, and even then, that was prior to any of the sort of Marineland notoriety that would eventually come to
And
fall.
you said acid. Do you ever do mushrooms?
Yeah, regularly.
Fuck, dude, me too. They're great.
I did ayahuasca in Mexico a few years ago, and you know, when we used to go to all those parties. So whereas we used to be drunks and everything else, we were doing a lot of acid in high school and a lot of mushrooms. But the difference between doing acid in high school and mushrooms in high school and doing them, for instance, today, is back then you did it because you thought you were doing something recreational or you're doing something that you thought was enhancing your party. Mm-hmm. But today you know that these are medicines that you could work with very intimately.
Yeah, it's more therapeutic.
Right. I swear to God it is, right? I mean, I got 2 joints in my fucking pocket.
Yeah.
It's a shame we can't.
Did we get a joint approval today, Dieter?
Joints are always good.
That's a go. Like we can actually
approval.
blast Jay's right here. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
I was going to suggest, if you don't mind. That's
Rip a
great.
nice doober, buddy.
So back to my story. So
Yeah.
I go to school for audio engineering and multimedia post-production, which at the time in 2000 or 99, you know, it was an expensive course. The internet is new enough and broadcasting and
big brick computers, eh?
doing internet editing, or rather audio editing and all these other things. It took some computing power that made for bigger computers, but
Yeah.
it also took schooling. So I went to that. Within 6 months of my fucking school, that's a free download on the internet. I got 12-year-olds that are running circles around me and editing music and putting together shit. So I'm useless. But nonetheless, Marineland suddenly, because I'm applying for jobs, but they're all in Toronto. Well, fuck, dude. If you want to work in Toronto, you got to make some big bucks.
That's a
if
bit
you're
of a
gonna
mish
stay
out
here.
from. You know.
So most of the jobs were part-time that I was being offered. So all of a sudden, back then, if you were looking for work, you found them in the want ads. You looked in the back of the papers. So I saw this want ad for a marine mammal trainer's assistant. Mm-hmm. And I thought, there's no way that I can conceivably be qualified for this because I have no education. But what I did have was a scuba license. And Marineland enjoyed that I had the music editing and whatnot on my resume, because they thought, well, here's a guy that could work on our music, maintain our equipment in the studio and everything else, and he can scrub our tanks. And then when they said to me in an interview, do you have any experience with wild animals? I said, I have an iguana. They're like, good enough. Here you fucking go. Here's your job.
Let's be honest. They probably thought you were cooler than the other guys applying.
So there was one thing that happened that was consistent, and I'm not going to say it for me necessarily, but it was consistent. But if you look good in a wetsuit back then, it seemed like that was good enough. If you look good in a wetsuit, that was good enough. As long as the people across wanted to be you somehow, or wanted to somehow, like if it appeared as though you made the job that the people that were paying to go there wanted that job, then you know that was enticing to Marineland. So,
That still happens today, man. I used to work for the government as a forest firefighter.
really?
Yeah.
In remote areas?
Yeah. So Fort Francis up north. We got to go all around Canada. We had like some fires in British Columbia on the border of Alberta too.
How old are you? Do you mind my asking?
27.
Oh, bro.
Yeah. So did a bunch of shit like that. But I remember the crew leader, he told me that before they hired me versus other people, they would look up our Facebook profiles and then go through our pictures and then kind of see, because when you live at a fire base, you're living with other people for like months at a time. So they wanted to kind of,
assess if you were going to be a peaceful participant.
Yeah, kind of, I guess some people over others. They had a preference for people that played instruments and hockey and stuff.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So I guess that's what they saw in you, eh? They're like, man, this guy looks fucking cool.
Well, they didn't see me ratting them out in a fucking decade plus later, that's for sure. They
Joke's
saw
on
someone
them,
they
eh?
could trust. But
Well,
now let's get back to the band stuff. So then I was playing. So I've always played in bands and shit like that. So and in fact, I'm still, even to this day, working on starting another band.
another fucking band, eh?
I recently played. This is crazy, but I recently teamed up with Robin Black, who's an MMA fighter.
I met Robin Black. Yeah.
Well, when I was a kid, he used to play in bands called Robin Black and the Intergalactic Rock Stars. So I used to watch this guy all the time.
Oh, fuck.
And so suddenly I approached him and said, hey, listen, because of COVID, there was like fucked upness and, bands weren't playing anymore. But there was like, you could put together these super bands and do a remote. So we did a couple songs. In fact, we got one on deck where I did a song with the guitar player from Suicidal Tendencies, guitar player from the drummer from, his name's Darren Pfeiffer. I feel bad. 311? No, I can't remember what his band.
Oh, so, Finger 11?
No, fuck no. That was
Three Doors Down?
No. It's
Boys are fucking the dog here. Is he from Ontario?
no, they're from LA.
Oh, yeah.
My
okay.
bad. Anyway, so I teamed up with all these guys. I got to play with literally one of the first big bands I ever went to go see was Suicidal Tendencies, who played with Danzig and Metallica. And so for me to be playing with these fucking guys, or with the guitar player, like,
That's pretty sick.
blow my fucking mind, right?
Oh, yeah.
But again, it keeps harking back to this idea that my life, for all the choices that I've ever made in life, be it to not go to school, which as much as you can say it's a conscious decision, it was more based on the decision not being made for me. Like I just didn't know what I wanted to do. I feel as though a lot of times in life, your decisions get made for you if you don't make them.
Ooh.
I would say that my life has been largely based on a lack of making decisions or allowing for the decisions to sort of to let momentum sort of decide. And because of that, and by virtue of the circumstance and everything of it, fuck, dude, I've had a pretty remarkable life, all things said. In retrospect, you live it stressed, you live it and you're like,
There's a lot of uncertainty, right?
This is hell and how long is this going to be and all this other stuff. But then you look at it in retrospect, like, fuck, I wish I'd enjoyed this more because, God, it looks like I had a good time. I just don't remember having a good time, so I was so fucking stressed.
I think that'll be useful, man, because a lot of people, especially nowadays, they have no idea what they're doing. Because, up until... I'll take a little puff just for you, buddy.
Thanks, man.
Not much of a fucking toker myself. But so at what age are you now where Marineland's like, all right, we'll give Phil a go here?
I'm 22 years old when I start, so that's in 2000. So I start, and basically what happened is there's an expansion at Marineland called Friendship Cove and Arctic Cove, these two new pools, and they've got a whole bunch of new wild-caught beluga whales that they brought in.
Belugas, okay.
Beluga whales. And at the time, they had a bunch of orcas. They had 7 orcas when I started there. 2 performing at the back and 5 at the... 2 performing at the front and 5 at the back.
Yep.
And they had, I think they had about 13 beluga whales. And, today we know they have 40. We know at their peak, only 2 years ago, they had about 58. We know there's a bunch missing now. But nonetheless, during my years there is when we acquired a bunch of whales. So
how does one acquire a whale?
You buy them on the black market, if you will, off of Russians, and they load them up on a plane, wild caught from the Black Sea, and they take them to Hamilton. And then I drive up to Hamilton.
On a fucking plane?
Yeah. Looking straight out of a Bruce Willis movie.
Holy shit.
Are you familiar with Bruce Willis?
Yeah, he's my guy. You know how many
He's your
people,
guy?
dude, you know how many people don't know about Die Hard? And
That's why I ask. I just say, like, I know I'm, I got to watch sometimes. I don't know what
third
movie
one
is
was,
relative these days.
but
or
the
not.
first 2 are fucking heaters, bro.
Are those is that the Christmas one?
Yeah. Fuck yeah, it is.
So, dude, I feel like I was in the belly of the beast. I felt like I was on the fucking plane with John McClane. I was just waiting for him to come out and slice my throat.
So they had the belugas on a fucking, in like a hot tub on a fucking plane?
Yeah,
from
hot
Russia?
tubs. Yeah, basically hot tubs on planes. Yeah,
And they drop them off in
belly
Hamilton.
of a plane, so that the front of it opens like this.
Whoa!
It drops out.
Oh, what
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fuck?
It's a Herc.
So I assume when you say Hamilton, like Mount Hope, the shitty
Yep.
airport. Yeah.
Yep. And so you get them, and usually it's done very quickly at night. And
Oh, of course, it's all at nighttime. Wow. So you got
stop for no stop signs. You're under police escort, and we drive them, and that's it. You take them out, put them in the pool, go to bed, wake up the next day, come back, hope they're eating, hope they're alive.
so you throw so they get them out of the plane, throw them in another fucking pool, strapped to a truck, and then drive them out to.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, they're the unit themselves that they come in. It comes with. So the crane picks up the actual hot tub.
How many whales can they fit in it at a time?
2 in a pod.
Yeah.
If you're saying those the hot tubs, yeah, you could get 2 small ones side by side.
And how many
Generally
hot
each one.
tubs can they move at once?
I remember pulling in like 5 or 7 whales at a time.
Holy
So
shit! I'm just
3 or
thinking
4.
logistically, like
Yeah,
that'd
yeah,
be
look
an
at-
absolute army of fucking whales out on Highway 6 there.
On Highway 6, and they would take the back roads too, so because we wouldn't hit the QE any, so it was all
Yeah, no
back
shit.
roads. Yeah. Dude, it was crazy. Well, this year we were tipped off. I was tipped off by a Marineland whistleblower, so someone who was employed at the time, and Marineland was shipping out 5 beluga whales on that particular morning, so we filmed them.
Ooh.
And it was crazy. We had a lot of interactions. I had particular and personal interactions with the lawyer who was in the caravan,
Right.
and
So they
they
were
shipped
getting
out 5.
rid of the
Yeah.
whales.
They're selling whales now. They were getting rid of. So I was told they're
Yeah.
getting rid of. Did you want some more of this?
No, I'm good.
They're gonna get rid of whales, Phil, and 2 are sick. They're gonna die. I said, okay. 1 has since died, and the other one is declared as sick and recovering right now at Mystic Aquarium. So they shipped those whales knowing full well that they were at risk of dying, and they did it. But that shows how desperate Marineland is right now. So what people don't know, and just to bring them up to speed, I'm saying right here, and it's a bold declaration, but Marineland's not going to open again. They're not opening again. They're in financial peril to the tune of never opening again.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I was gonna say, like, realistically, like when I was a kid, I went to Marineland, maybe once or twice.
What year would you remember your last being?
Maybe 2002.
Dude, you were there when I was there.
Yeah, 2002, 2003.
You
Wow,
would've
that's
seen-
weird to think.
I would have been swimming with the orcas.
Whoa.
I would have been the one swimming with so we would have had Neosha and Nova
Holy
at the time
shit.
and
Young Denmo. Saw young Phil.
Denmo, yeah. You probably still had the mustache for that.
Yeah, came out like that. Yeah.
I didn't. I would have been too young.
Yeah, when did you grow a beard, buddy?
As soon as I quit being a firefighter.
You were a firefighter too?
Uh-huh.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, briefly, and then I got tired of, like, I don't want to get into too much detail because there's a lot of, it's private stuff not to talk about, but no, I live on a river in Chippewa. Niagara River goes like this, and then the Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
Niagara River goes like this, and it goes like this, and then there's the
water's got to come from somewhere. Yeah.
I live on the water on the adjacent creek, if you will. That
allegedly.
runs,
yeah.
Allegedly. No, there's no question. But
definitively.
But I pulled out just too many. Every year, this year we lost 2 people. We lost 2.
Oh, so you were like rescuing a lot of bodies.
Yeah.
That's what. Firefighters do that too. I used to live in Caledonia, and there's a Grand River there. People would always go swimming in the
We
drink.
do the same. We drift all the time on the Chippewa Creek. We drift. We go in the tubes and you drift and you drink beer and you hang out and everything else.
Yep.
Just like the Grand River. It's great.
We'll go wading too. Same shit.
So we've got a current. So what happens is people jump off the bridge and then they swim against the current because they want to get back. Then they exhaust themselves. And if you're not from there, you don't just reel it. There's problems. Yeah. You got to be a strong swimmer. But the thing that you need, look, it's the thing that I try to stress to people is, especially when it comes to swimming, look at how dad am I right now. We're talking swim safety, but let's do it.
Yeah. Tell
If
them.
you're getting exhausted by a current, don't lose to the current. Just drift with it. You see your friends getting further and further, and you're trying to swim as hard and fast as you can to catch up to them, but you're not going to make it. Just go with the current. Stop swimming against it. Stop. You're not going to win that race. What happens is guys exhaust themselves, and then what happens? They panic. As soon as that panic sets in, it's game over.
So you're supposed to go to the side, right?
Just go to the side.
Not swing against
Get caught up in the bush. Who cares? Hold on to it, but you're breathing. You panic. You know the other thing is, people's last look, their last thought is expressed on their face when they die.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And so you pull out a young person and you see what's going on in their fucking mind and the last thought they had, and you know it's their mom. Man, I couldn't do it no more.
Whoa.
So I grew a beard.
Faces of death. Holy shit. You ever find any bodies where people were smiling?
No. No, I've not found that. I shouldn't say that I've stumbled on a lot of bodies, but I am going through some.
Okay, yeah.
But no, I was going to say most of them are face down, the other thing.
Yeah. What
And
about the eyeballs? The eyes are wide open too.
Generally,
right?
I tried to stay at the feet. I know it sounds crazy, but I got into firefighting because I thought I wanted to, and I was wrong.
I've heard stories from people that are firefighters, and they have extreme like PTSD because they're always yanking dead bodies out of places.
It's in my front yard, dude. The last body I took out was about. Anyways, I probably said too much.
Yeah.
Just because there's a thing of respect too. You want to keep things anonymous. You want to be talking about if there's 10 people that have died in the river in the last 10 years, then you know I'm talking about one of them.
I've seen some people die, not from drowning, but like car accidents, car collisions.
Physically seen them expire from life
I
to
saw
dead.
a bad one in Australia. Yeah. Guy on a motorcycle veering in between traffic, and then he hit the corner of something and then just face down.
You saw it?
Yeah.
Dude, I almost saw that on a QE today, except for the guy didn't get clipped. But I saw him weaving out and out traffic. I'm like, this is just waiting for someone to not know and do a lane change.
Dude,
That's
people on
simple.
bikes are fucking nuts,
Bro,
man.
you saw that?
Yeah, it's fucked up. I was like 10 years old too, or 13. I was 13, yeah.
When I was 13, I was in Mexico. About the same age, 10 or 13. Let's go 10 or 13.
Yeah.
Was that 10? Was that 13?
Good range, yeah.
And it was a family trip, and I'll never forget because it was dark, and we're walking. And you know Mexico, you've been to Mexico? Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. It's
Cabos,
just
buddy.
Lights and fucking.
I actually did acid for New Year's in Mexico, allegedly, potentially.
Definitely.
It was fucking sick.
That's where I did ayahuasca.
Dude, we saw whales jumping out of the water because
Come
Cabos.
on.
No,
You're on acid too?
Yeah. The neighbor comes out and he's like, "Oh, like that happens all the time." And I was like, "I don't care, man.
You're
I'm
like,
on
"Not-
acid,
not
and
when
it's
I'm on acid,
fucking
don't."
awesome, dude."
So we drive by this scene. There's clearly a scene. There's some people that are like, what the fuck's up?
Oh yeah, okay.
And what happened was scooters. The guys were driving the scooters, and they must have fell and tumbled. But dude, I saw their heads were. That's in Mexico. That's where I saw the dead people in Mexico. So I'd seen similar to your car accident. That would have been like similar.
Yeah,
same
car accidents
age.
are nasty, man. Yeah.
Dude, what the fuck? Anyways, let's talk more about where were we going before I went back to
Okay, buddy.
just to
So
finish that story?
you're kind of like me. You had a bunch of really random ass jobs in
Yeah,
your 20s, and then all of a sudden something kind of pulled you. So what was weird, actually, yeah. So when you were starting at Marineland in 2002, or like around that age, I was going there with my parents. I was like fucking, I don't know, 5 years old or whatever. So anyways, you're working at Marineland. You're 22. What's going on now?
So So first thing is a whale dies. It's my first whale death. And dudes, I'm a young, for a 22-year-old kid, I may as well be 15 years old, maybe 14 fucking years old. My development's been arrested. For some reason, I'm just a child at heart. So not much has changed, frankly, even at 44 years old. But
yeah, me too, buddy.
Here's, yeah. So suddenly a whale dies, and I'm kind of in. So that winter rolls around, and I say, is it cool if I leave, if I quit this job for a bit, come back? They're like, you can leave, but you got to come back in 1 year. Okay. So I go live in South Korea.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I go be an English second language teacher. I'm doing it illegally. I don't have the university degree. So I'm just saying, fuck it. I'm going to go there. And
I have a buddy that does that.
It's great.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't regret it.
Yeah, I won't say anything else.
Best year of my life.
South Korea, eh?
So I went to South Korea.
Wow.
Lived there for a bit. It was great. And then came back because I wasn't going to stay. I actually wasn't going to come back, but because I'd given Marineland my word, I came back. And it's a good thing I did, because I was actually, at the time, I was in Thailand, and my then girlfriend and I were thinking about living in Thailand. I was just going to become a dive master, and maybe for a few years we'd just do some scuba diving and shit. It sounded like a fucking cool idea.
Yeah.
But then because I'd given Marineland my word that I'd go back, I said, nah, I better go back. So I went back. And 6 months to the date that we left, that fucking island, it's called the island of Koh Phi Phi, back in 2003 or 2004.
Oh, I know what happened.
Got wiped the fuck out, dude.
Yeah.
We would have been right there.
Got obliterated. Holy shit.
We would have been right there. So I don't want to say what could have been, but we would have been right there. It would have been a nightmare. Whoa. Nonetheless, so I come back to Marineland, make good on the word, except for very few years later, this walrus comes, this wild-caught walrus. And during a weird medical procedure, there's a heightened state of emotion. She starts panicking. I tried to get her away from the chaos of the scene, and I put my hands in front of her fucking face. And at 2 years of age, for some reason, her brain circuitry opens, and I become her mom.
Whoa.
In that moment, I imprint on her, which means my voice, what I look like, how I smell, everything. I become her mom in the same way that she would be able to see, to recognize her mom amidst thousands in a herd. She now sees me as that. Those attributions have now been tattooed on her fucking brain. So now I'm at Marineland and I've got a problem. It's a blessing on one hand, because how cool is this? This walrus will follow me anywhere. Like, I can take her to the ends of the earth.
Like the neuroplasticity of this thing was just connected to you. Right?
She's protective of me. She wants to beat on my girlfriend. She wants to beat on anyone that comes close to me. She's got my sense of humor, though. She's kind of funny about it.
Whoa.
Yeah, because as years go on, it's like our level of communication are such that she's trying to make me proud. It's fucked up.
Yeah, marine animals are actually pretty good at that compared to other animals. I mean, dogs are good, but like from what I've heard,
marine mammals have a level
dolphins
of
and shit. They're at a whole new level.
Yeah, especially when it comes to family bonds and emotion.
Yeah,
and they're just to the point that we can't even necessarily grip the concept of just how deeply emotionally intense they are.
Is there a way to speak whale? Like those noises.
There's some thought,
right?
There's some thought to people that want to bridge the communication, and I get it. But if you were to consider this, you have to establish that there's one base language to start from. And so because there isn't, and we try to interpret, okay, well, we want to bridge the level of communication, but I speak English, for instance, or a scientist that's testing whale speech is speaking English. A whale is making sounds that we can't interpret, although we can, with some studying, you can attribute it to frustration, anger, or sexual, whatever.
Emotions.
I mean, you can get an idea, right? Emotions for sure. But to try to get to words is now you're trying to interpret their words into your words. Well, that's a lot of, there might not be words. Like, you know what I'm saying? There just comes to a point where I think we have to.
Most of the communication is through body language and visuals, right? So that's what you had with this walrus. You're saying pretty much you had.
That's what you will have had with your mom until you were able to bridge the communication gap. But because we were never able to get to the point where oof means specifically something,
gotcha.
I wasn't able to get there.
So you just stayed in that stage.
We got but that's everything. That is 99% of communication is well beyond that of language. So no, we had a very powerful relationship, and the same can be said with communicating with whales and other species of animals. Is it's nonverbal, right? And when anything that is verbal, if you attribute it to making sense to yourself, then you've already lost the plot, because.
So you and this walrus are tight. You're cool. You know how to communicate
She's
to each
my
other.
daughter.
Yeah.
It's fucked up. It's messed up to say. I
Whoa.
became a surrogate walrus mom in that fucking day. So now quitting my job became not that easy, because anytime I even leave, She develops stress welts. She loses weight. She loses her mind. She has anxiety. So it's a challenge. I mean, it's a blessing. Again, as I said earlier, it's kind of cute. It's cool. The novelty is amazing. Then there's a curse is fuck, man. When I toured the band and we went to Switzerland, we were gone 10 days. I came back. She lost 30 pounds. She has all these stress welts. Trainers are telling me, oh, she's not doing well. I'm panicking over in Europe. Like, fuck me. I got to get back. This is only 10 days. Whoa. How am I supposed to quit? So my efforts in moving forward, knowing that eventually I'll probably have to quit Marineland, was I got to wean her off me. I got to get a way that I can, in confidence, leave and that she still be okay. So by the time I do decide to leave, and we're skipping a lot of stuff, and I'll try to touch on everything, but the conditions at Marineland get super fucked, and I'm ready to quit. They don't really like me anymore because I'm in their face. But then I get on this reality TV show, which thank you, because of it has everything to do with Smooshy, because here I'm a surrogate walrus mom. It's not hard to get on Wipeout Canada if you're a fucking walrus mom. So boom, I'm on this reality TV show. I fucking take it down. I win.
Yeah.
I take down. So I take home 50,000.
So you started out on the giant red balls.
Yeah,
but
the
then
red
you
balls.
made your way through.
That's right.
Yeah.
I got the red balls. I didn't get too far, but I did touch 2 of them. That's pretty good.
The red balls were fucking hard, man. I'd see people eat shit on those things.
Dude, I showed up to Argentina where they filmed this. As soon as I show up, I see a guy in a sling like this. And I look at him. I said, "What the fuck is this?" He goes, "It's real, bro." I'm like, "Oh, fuck! I didn't think that would happen." He's on the next flight home.
That's fucking funny. It's real, bro.
It's real. His words. It's real, bro. And I'll never forget that look. I'm like, yeah. Oh, I got injured on that course. I saw a lot of people get injured, like really injured.
Fuck.
But I don't want to talk.
They don't show that on TV.
No, they don't show that. They don't show that. Although they did show the one guy, Chuck Scrock. I remember he was a helicopter guy. He severed his Achilles tendon, and they showed it. I mean,
Jesus.
And that guy was going to win $50K if that didn't happen.
Fuck, man.
And it's win everything or win nothing too. So there's no second place in that.
So they pull you out to fucking wipe out Canada.
So I win the money. So
oh yeah, you won.
Yeah. Right. So I take home the money and I wait till the check's in the bank, or the check's in the bank. It's in the bank. I have it cleared. I have the money. Okay, now it's time to execute my fucking plan.
Oh.
And I'm fucking quitting this hellhole. And that's exactly what I did. I started to gather evidence against them, if you will.
Operation Fuck Marineland, pretty much.
I've got some video, and then.
So you're thinking about this for a while. You're like, some fucked up shit's going on here. We got to kind of find a way to.
I thought of it that if I keep losing more and more choices on how to remedy this, the only choice I'm going to have left is to quit and speak. So everything's trying to be done. I'm trying to do everything in house, but they don't like me anymore. I'm calling the fucking owner, but he's too busy at Timmy's or eating a borscht soup to give a shit to come back and deal with the broken water disinfection unit that now, because there's too much chlorine in the water, it's burning holes out of the fucking marine mammal's eyeballs. And I mean, geez. Physically. Yeah. Like animals died.
So basically shit is being not taken care of, because and it's causing animals to die.
So what happened was it was winter. So it was the winter was rolling around, and because Marineland is typically closed or always closed in the winter. Yeah. Because the water disinfection unit broke at the end of the season, the water started getting fucking green. Even the public were seeing it, but then it closed. So the owner just thought, well, instead of fucking fixing this thing, let's just put it off for a few months, because I mean he can make sense of it. He's dead today, so I don't imagine he's thinking about it too much. But he wasn't rolling around. But the chlorine kept fucking up our animals, and I was getting fucking pretty tired of it. I wasn't just me. The veterinarians were tired of it. The water maintenance guys, everyone was screaming up and down in Marineland, like, you better fucking do something. Well, I decided, okay, it seems to me there's only one thing left to do. So I quit. Now I should mention, I quit, and it was with the agreement that I was still able to take care of Smooshy. And Marineland made good. They called me.
So Smooshy is the walrus.
My bad, yes. Yeah. So they made good. They actually had me come in about 10 days after I quit to treat a dolphin that had stopped eating. And so I thought, okay, well, they made good on that. Maybe they're going to make good on Smooshy. So I didn't speak out. I just elected that I'm going to leave on the basis that my mental health is such that I'm fucked. I got to quit this job. They said that I can continue to help as long as the animals need me. I'll put trust in that. And so I quit. Dude, I was gone a month, and I decided, okay, I'm going to go back. I go back, and they're not letting me in. Okay, something's up. Well, the owner's son sees me, puts his arm around me, says, come on in. You're like family here, Phil. We're letting you in. Yep, he lets me in. Well, the owner's son didn't know, but there was a policy at that point that I wasn't allowed to come back. It was so fucked up.
Right.
They didn't want me to know. So I go in, I say, where is she? And the vet's like, okay. And she takes me. And there's Smooshy, and she's on fucking death's door, man. She's dry, she's lethargic, she's skinny, she has got no water next to her, no ice, she hasn't eaten in days. I said, what the fuck is going on? They said, sorry, we weren't allowed to tell you. Well, the media had been calling me because remember, I'd won Wipeout some time before. There was, just by virtue of the relationship that Smooshy and I had, we went viral, the equivalent of what viral is in 2008.
Yeah, this was like, what, 2010?
Yeah, so this was 2008 was our original fluff story where it was like,
okay.
You know, it just caught the media's attention. So it was on Inside Edition. It did its round. So, and I used those things to get onto Wipeout, frankly. I used those clips to get onto
CTV London, Global,
CTV
all those
London,
guys.
yeah, the big one.
Yeah.
And
fuck those guys.
So I used all those, dude. Yeah, actually, I got to.
You got better press than I did, buddy.
No. You and I got the same relationship with some of these legacy media people. Believe me.
Fuckers, yeah.
But anyway, so on account of the good media, when I did quit, the media was calling me like, "Why the fuck? Like, who quits? You're not going to quit. You quit Marineland." I'm like, I didn't want to talk about it.
Oh, they wanted the story, eh?
They wanted the story because people were saying Phil fucking quit.
Wow.
So I didn't want to say anything. But then when I went back a month later and I saw the fucking Walrus, that's when I said, okay, let's fucking go. And I could just hear them salivating in the back. I could hear the press machines going, here we go. I said, put my name, put my face, let's fucking talk, let's go. And so front page everywhere, they did the expose. I wasn't the only whistleblower. There's 7 of us initially, eventually 15 and then some.
Holy shit. How many people worked at Marineland at the time?
Oh, dude.
Big operation, eh?
Yeah, back then a bigger one. Mind you, it was still mom and pops to a certain extent. They'll sit there and say, oh, no, we've got thousands. We employ thousands of people. They'll say that to the benefit of the community. That's horseshit. It was never more than 100-person operation at best. But,
man, when I was a kid, it seemed big, dude. It was like the shit. Like everyone loves Marineland. I know this hurts for you to hear.
No. It doesn't hurt for me to hear. No, it doesn't. I would love for you to walk through today because you would say, as a kid, I thought this place was so big. And you walk through it today, you'd say, oh my God, it's not that big. It's vast in that there's a lot of area to walk.
Yeah.
There's fucking nothing there.
Probably looks like fucking Chernobyl now, eh?
And there's like decrepit rides. Half of them don't work. The bushes are all, dude, you would walk in there today, you'd say, this is not the memory I have of Marineland. It is not. And such that the experience you had itself shaped your memory of Marineland. So you have an endearing memory of it. You'd go there and you'd expect it to have a spirit to replicate that of your experience. You would show up there and be like, this place is dead, is awful, is decrepit, is fucking gross. And then if you were to look back at what it was looking like then, not much different. The difference was the people were smiling ear to ear to fucking consume it. And today they're just not.
Well, it's like when you go back to your old school and you're like, whoa, I'm like, dude, 4 times as big as everything here. This is weird.
I've had that. You go to your old school and it's shocking.
Yeah.
Same thing, dude. You'd walk through those doors and you'd be like, I can't believe this. You'd even say, to the extent you'd say, I can't believe my parents came here and thought that this was okay. Yeah. You would even say that because you'd say it's so clearly not. But society has changed. Back then, it just wasn't the case. You didn't know any better.
That's such an interesting thing too. You know, like thinking back when we were young. I mean, you know, I'm sure you had your equivalent of where your parents took you when you were like 5, 6, 7 years old.
Yeah, Marineland once.
Really? Marineland was kicking when you were that age too.
Oh, dude, in the 80s.
Whoa.
It's funny, you know, I realize now with the age gap, Marineland would be less prominent in your childhood and life growing up than it would have been in mine, because in my day, there was only Marineland. And I don't mean it by virtue of them being the only.
Wonderland, right?
I'm saying they were just the biggest fucking thing. Like that Jingle was gold, man.
Dude, that Jingle still is fucking gold, man. Everybody loves Marineland. And everybody doesn't love Marineland, bro. The fucking emperor wears no clothes.
I'll say this, that I stole aspects of that Jingle because it is genius in the marketing of both, all of it's in the syllables, in the way that it's said.
Yeah.
Everyone loves Marineland. Life is short, steal a walrus.
Uh-huh.
I fucking stole it. I rearranged it, and that's the tweet that got me on the fucking map. That's the tweet that sent the fucking police to my house, got me the documentary. That's the tweet that fucking got the story, you know,
the
global notoriety. It was all the blue check mark come after that.
Oh, yeah.
And
there you go.
I'm telling you, it's the marketability that I went and said, I'm like, life is short, steal a walrus. I'm like, fuck that. That sounds like it's got Jingle to it.
Yeah, some Jingle potential there.
There is more to, you know, when I speak about social media and like when you make a tweet, dude, there's aesthetics to a tweet. There's the way that it's said, in the way that it's pronounced, the syllables, and how many that it's used.
Yeah, it's like a haiku.
Dude, it is everything. You can make a subtle change to a tweet. In fact, to the tune where I had a Canadian senator send me a tweet, say, what do you think of this tweet? I said, good tweet. Let's try this instead. He tweeted it, his first one. I said, let's delete that. Let's try this one instead. And a small revamping, and even in the way that the letters are jumbled, there's aesthetics to it. And took off to the tune of like 1,000-fold. And he just sat there like, wow. And I'm like, there is an art to it. It's no different in the marketing in that I said to you, and I noticed these things. I said, your fucking marketing is really great, bro. I'm like, your show is high production. I was immediately jealous. I had gotten a boner from it, and you know, with
Thanks,
my
bro.
age,
Glad
those are
your
tough
boner
to fucking
led you
muster. But in the same way, I find the aesthetics and I find the poetry in social media, in production of everything. And Marineland had it. That was their best kept.
True.
That was their thing.
Back in the TV commercial days.
They spent all their money on it.
They fucking got me too. I was a
in.
fucking 6-year-old. I was like, whoa.
It was a Jingle and a decrepit park, man. It was a shitty park. They had a good ride. They had the steel roller coaster is great. It's 3 minutes of a great ride. Sky Screamer's a big one. It's a wonderful ride. The rest of them are a bunch of teacup rides that you can buy for $40,000 US and put in your backyard. They just put a bunch of timber around it to make it look fancy.
Some of those fucking pop-up festivals, I don't know if you guys, I don't think they have them anymore. Maybe in some other countries, but like where the guys working there, it looks like they just put it together this morning.
Yeah, fair, the carnies.
Super sketch, buddy.
Dude, I love carnies.
So sketch.
You want to have some stories, hang around a carny.
I'd hit up a fucking carny, but I wouldn't put my kids on one of those things.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I got one at the end of my street all the time. Pre-COVID, but
yeah.
The zipper. That's the one.
The
Everyone
zipper,
goes on
eh?
the zipper.
So yeah, I'm just thinking now, like Marineland, realistically, as they've transitioned, so, you know, from what I understand, just more and more animals have been either removed or passed away. More and more backlash from the community.
More and more laws, more and more regulations. Yeah,
people whistleblowing. Just sounds like a fucking, you know, decline has been steady for a while now.
It's good game, no redos. They're just in denial at this point. They've had enough money to sustain to a certain extent, but COVID just pulled the rug from underneath them completely.
Oh yeah, just movie theatered them, eh?
Fuck, dude, I hate when you say that. Only because I released a film during COVID, and it was the worst possible time for a documentary to ever be released in human history, potentially, except for when there was no TVs. But so The Wallace and the Whistleblower was a documentary that was supposed to come out March of 2019, which is days before the widespread cancellation of life.
Right.
And we were supposed to be, it was a May date, a Saturday night in Toronto, red carpet, the whole works. You know, the documentary went on to win the Viewer's Choice Award, but all the events got canceled, and all the festivals went online.
Oh, that's bullshit.
Fucking lame. Dude, I hate to say it, but they were like, okay, Phil, well, whereas we would have had you on a stage with the documentarian and you guys would have done your thing.
In a nice suit and shit.
You know,
the presentation. Humans are very primitive. They want that.
Dude, and I sell and she sells. We had good stuff. It would have been great. It would have been brilliant. It would have been quite beautiful. Instead, it was reduced to like online stuff with like 15 to maybe 7 to 15 viewers. I'm like, dude, shoot me. Just fucking shoot me.
Yeah, fucking 4 people were there. Sick.
So when you said, oh, he theater, what'd you say? You said the theater or cinema, you cinema'd them or?
No. Well, like.
Movie theatered them?
Yeah. Well, when I mean movie theater, I mean like movie theaters were just hurting for a year because they couldn't do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So we movie theater.
But the spectacle of presenting, like you've seen it in the shit I do. I wear a crown, show up with a sword, knight people, bro. Humans are so primitive. They love symbolism, man. And as something as simple as like winner gets on stage, holds trophy, his podium is a little bit higher than the other ones. We all just eat that up. We're like, yeah, that's the top monkey right there. He's running the fucking show. So that was a bit of a momentum killer for you, probably, eh? Like all this hype for Marineland and fucking Schmovid just.
Marineland had their day.
Yeah.
Then they presented me with mine. And I fucking took it and I ran with it. And they laughed at me at the beginning. You know, you ever hear the saying, at first they laugh at you, then first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you?
And then they want to be you or whatever?
Well, then maybe that's what it becomes. I don't know that Marineland will ever want to be
if it keeps going that way.
I know they don't want
to. And then they sue you in your case.
And then they sue you.
Yeah.
No, so any momentum that Marineland has tried to get, any pushback that they've tried to do, and remember, they've sued me for millions. They've sent goons to my house. They've sent cops to my house.
They sent goons after you.
Dude, tough guys in tank tops in fucking the middle of December.
In fucking Niagara. Whoa.
Shake me down. You imagine that?
What the fuck, Marineland?
Dude, it was mental. Dude, the owner was driving by my house in slow motion with a shotgun in the back of his
What?
Yes, and the cops set up a surveillance camera. They caught him 12 times, but they kept saying, him driving by doesn't constitute harassment. I says, yeah, but the man's dying and he has less reason to live. And he's got a shotgun in the back.
Fucking corrupt, dude. Fuck that. The owner of Marineland's driving by your house with a shotgun? That's fucking weird.
on repeat, dude, 12 fucking times.
Yeah, what the fuck?
So they never charged him with harassment. He never got anything. But anytime he would do such a thing, again, somehow the pushback would always be tenfold. Anytime they try to fuck with me, and I've been blessed with it's like ordained, or there's a divinity to it where I've been protected. So I should have been belly up and bust a long time ago. Frankly, it just should have been the case.
It's a good thing it's Canada, eh?
Good thing it's Canada. Good thing the internet is borderless. Good thing that I have a willingness to tweet the things that other people might not, or share the things that I might not, because every time Marineland did anything, I rose to the challenge and accepted their challenge, and then sent it back to them tenfold, and it's just worked out.
You had all the sauce, eh? What could they really do to you? Just delay, pretty much?
Well, that's what they've done. It's 9 years. They sued me in 2013 for $1.5 million for plotting to steal Smooshy the Walrus, and all I've done from that point is jump through repeated hoops, motions, legal these legal fucking things.
Yeah.
And they're just every one of them is a scratch ticket as to whether or not you win or lose, or how much money you lose on those arguments based on crossed T's and dotted I's, not the merits of the lawsuit, just arguing over sentences within. Mm-hmm. So they thought they would just make me bankrupt, which they would have, and they did in history a bunch of different times. Man, they sued about 15 fucking people at this point.
How much fucking dough does Marineland have?
They don't have dough left, bro.
They're out of dough now.
They're running out of dough. Yeah, they've got dough till May, and then they're out of dough.
So they have like 6 or 7 months of dough.
They're not opening again. They're for sale.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Like the land, the property, or the business itself?
The land.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think anybody's going to want to buy a fucking Marineland and put whales back in there?
They've explicitly sent out packages to invite bids to property developers. Whoa. And that, I'm told, they're looking for a price of $300 million. But the issue that the developers are finding is a number of things.
$300 million fucking dollars? What do they get for that?
For the land.
Yeah, how much land is
800 acres. 400 usable, 400 unusable. The 400 that's unusable is deemed unusable because that's where you'll have to do the excavation of the animals, which is just going to be an expensive thing, but no one pretends like it's not going to happen.
Oh, shit. Yeah, like all the dead carcasses.
And they're and Marineland is putting the due diligence on the buyers. So they're not saying what's back there. They're saying it's going to cost you to find out. And so buyers are being told already $200,000 to $300,000 to do an assessment. Number two, the owner, when he was alive, this land was never meant to turn into condos and houses. It was meant to be a long-term
Marineland
theme park. So he was trenching this large canal at the back. Well, now there's this fucking miles long canal that's actually attached to the waterway that I live on, that developers are looking at going, fuck, we got to fill this thing up. We can't put houses on a canal. So it's a really ugly prospect. So developers are looking at this thing and they're saying, and I'm told that some offers are low ball, but they're doing it because the prospect of what it's going to cost to get this thing in the condition, even the excavation of the underwater piping, and getting rid of all those pools and everything. I mean, it's going to be a very expensive.
Sounds like a fucking mess, dude.
It's a nightmare. I've been told from one developer, I kind of don't want to win the bid. I put in a bid, it's low. I kind of don't want to win it because fucking the reality is the nightmare that's going to become of the scope of the work.
Man, real estate game's crazy right now. I bet, the Chinese will buy it and flip it. Man.
Well, the Chinese, as we speak, there's a Chinese company that looked to invest $10 billion in a property only adjacent to Marineland.
Of course they did. Holy shit.
They've run into problems because there's wetlands, so there's development issues. So everybody in the community is saying, why aren't they just going next door to Marineland then? Why aren't the Chinese taking that $10 billion promised investment and taking it to Marineland's land where they can unimpededly develop? I don't know why. Someone knows why.
Whoa.
But we're all waiting to find out when.
Yeah, that's a big difference. That's a $9.7 billion difference right there.
Well, you just move from a piece of property that you can't develop, that there's environmentalists and government that are tying your hands, to going to a place where you can develop at
How much can their wheels be greased? Environmental assessors for...
Completely.
Oh, yeah.
I watched it in real time happen. There's no question in my mind. I won't, because I don't want to be sued again, I won't say who, but yeah, Marineland was ordered to have an environmental assessment done. It was done by a company, and that company gave them a passing grade, despite the fact that I know some of the things that are fucking buried there that would have never passed that fucking grade.
Have you seen The Big Short? That movie?
I've seen The Big Short. I'm inspired by The Big Short. I buy Bitcoin because of The Big Short.
There you go. Okay, so the scene where they go and they get the credit rating agency to basically just give the triple thumbs up?
Yeah, right. Sure, of course.
So kind of similar to that?
Marineland was an accredited facility forever. When we toured the accreditors, they went to the bear pit. They looked at me and they said, "Why do you feed your bears the pinnipeds?" And I said, "What?" They said, that bone. I said, oh, that's a T-bone from a steak or something. They thought we fed the bears seals. This was the accreditors group, the people that were to accredit the zoo so that they were met with the high levels of whatever governance, And so anyways, that's the Canadian Association of Zoos and Aquarium. They no longer accredit Marineland.
So those guys are a little bit different than health inspectors on like factories. And
No,
shit.
these guys are lobbyists for zoos. They're just the guys who talk to the government and make sure.
I feel like zoos are going to get canceled one day,
Bro,
man.
it's happening as we speak. You're watching it happen in real time. Yeah, it's a paradigm shift. Zoos are bored, and the other thing is municipalities at some point are going to get tired of spending the monies on zoos because largely, and the Toronto Zoo is a perfect example. It's large cities that subsidize the costs.
I was going to say they're subsidized, aren't they?
Yeah, they subsidize them because it used to be such that these were profitable programs, but back in the day when entertainment was not much and everyone went to zoos, because that
pre-TikTok,
right?
Yeah, pre-internet, pre-porn, all that.
That's where people went. And now zoos are just a relic of an old idea. And I'm even surprised that the Toronto Zoo's getting like an orangutan or something. It's like, what are you guys fucking thinking? Do you not?
I used to love going to the zoo, but yeah, everything there looks fucking depressed. Dude, the rhino there. Oh my god, that thing looks shell shook.
Dude, it's awful, and they all suffer from something called zoocosis, where they're you'll see it when big cats and bears when they're running back and forth in a cages. Man,
Posture's
it's just
shit.
awful.
Yeah.
Here's something to keep in mind when you go to a zoo: wild animals are meant to not be seen. As soon as they sense that they're seen, the entirety of their being changes. They're meant to not be seen. So when they're being gawked at 24/7, that level of stress that is imposed on those animals is like nothing we can imagine.
Hormones just
by virtue of being seen is enough for them to get in that heightened state of emotion, like, oh fuck. Because remember, everything's a threat to them. So you take a wild animal, put it in a cage, and have them seen 24/7. That fucking compounded stress, it just turns into that back and forth fucking. The same thing you're watching with the orca at Marineland's bashing her head against the wall. It manifests itself into a physical manifestation of stress.
So they just go fucking crazy.
You're watching them go. You're watching their craziness on display.
Damn.
Yeah, it's awful.
Do any of them have a good time? Like Arctic foxes? Do those guys have fun?
No, I would not. So the only thing I would say of some species of animals is some require less things to quote unquote thrive.
Yeah, like a crocodile or.
Yeah, maybe even seals and sea lions. I mean, in the wild, they're sleeping on docks and covered in their own.
We saw some seals actually on the coast of British Columbia recently, and they were just they're just chilling. Dude, what was crazy to me, Phil? They had a shitload of seals. There was like 200 seals there, but they had like these giant alpha king seals that were like 4 times as big as the other ones, man.
I wonder what those were.
It was off the coast of Powell River on.
Well, it could just be a male sea lion, but it could also be like. I mean, I have to see what they are.
Yeah, things were fucking tanks.
Oh,
dude.
The males are big. They get to 600-700 pounds. And what's funny is they're absolute puppy dogs, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, the little 160-pound females are far more vicious, man.
The noises they made too. 100 of them
and
belting
the smells
at us.
they make. Yeah.
We actually saw some guys drunk driving a boat, like eating shit, wiping out because they were trying to get close to it, but it's all rocky. So the waves.
Yeah, right.
It's just 2 old dudes. Yeah,
No, they deserve it.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, I was going to say about the species of animals that could thrive. You've got a species of animals, and I shouldn't be the person. I don't want to be a spokesperson for captivity, but seals and sea lions, they're not migrating hundreds of kilometers or miles to hunt. They're not doing much. They're basically laying in their own shit. If they can reproduce, great. Sometimes they care to fight, great. They don't need a lot of land. They just need a bit of fish.
So do you think that there could be some kind of situation where they could actually display these, but I imagine it would need to be in an environment where the weather's more controlled, there's way more space, way more water, maybe even a connection to the ocean?
Oh, in the ocean. And it's happening right now. Right now, there's something called the Whale Sanctuary Project. I always urge people to visit whalesanctuaryproject.org. And they're building one in Nova Scotia, a whale sanctuary, 100
Nova
acres.
Scotia, eh?
It opens tomorrow. The information center opens tomorrow. So there should be some press about it. So that being Friday.
Holy shit.
But they're still $12 million shy of what they need to get to where they need to be.
So how does that work? Like they have just like a giant thing and it's like connected right to the water?
Not yet, but it's going to be. Yeah, it'll be at the ocean, and there'll be a thing that contains it. 100 acres.
So how are they going to get the whales to come in and chill? Just going to give them
They're not going to bring them in. They're going to bring whales that are otherwise in the wild or otherwise in captivity that don't have a home. So there's no such thing as whale sanctuaries.
Gotcha.
It just doesn't exist. This won't be a for-profit endeavor.
Yeah.
This is to save whales and get them out of tanks. So you look at Marineland. If Marineland's belly up, and they've got 40 beluga whales, 1 orca, and 5 dolphins, and then we've got a whale sanctuary that's being built on the East Coast that just needs $12 million and about 6 months to a year to be built. dude, you've got a perfect scenario before us where, not only can Canada take a hold of just grab a hold of this thing because, what with the ban of whales in captivity with Bill S-203 and everything, but to then turn around and be it support or have in their country an erected sanctuary. Fuck, man. That's a dream. So this is what I'm doing now. I'm just in every which way, shape, or form. I'm trying to direct people to, it's a costly endeavor, but it's not much more expensive than a big brand new pool at Marineland. So we just need people that give a fuck to spend the money, and the future's bright, man. We're gonna pull whales out of tanks and put them back in the ocean.
What if I told you they spent $500,000 just to have extra police at Hoko?
It wouldn't surprise me. I would say it's a shame. Is that a fact? Do you know that to be the case?
It's $350,000 for one weekend, and the next weekend probably the same amount of police.
There's a Hoko announced, then the police say, okay, let's go with the Hoko package, which is the big spend, which is get all the people. But does it serve the community any? Does it keep things from getting out of control? Or
it's under scrutiny. Like a lot of people think that the money should be spent elsewhere.
That maybe it's
in the city itself, right?
Because I'm saying 20 years ago when I was there, I don't remember a lot of cops in fucking London.
They pull up in fucking SWAT gear now. It's crazy. Like riot shields, everything.
That's insanity.
Horses.
Dude. You guys are kids. This is insanity.
It's bananas, Phil.
Did anyone get knifed?
So one person actually got stabbed, not at Hoko, but somebody that was there attending later on that night. They got into a skirmish.
So there's a falling out. But dude, this happens at any bar, any given fucking night. If you're saying at that level of population, that's like going to a full big festival and having one
go to a fucking Tiger Cats game.
Yeah, dude,
Look
exactly.
at the parking lot.
No, dude, exactly. I've been to Bills
lose.
games. I've been to all these things. And I've been kicked out of most of the venues out of here, dude.
You ever get tickets
I
from
had
anyone?
good times.
Did they used to give out tickets back in the day at Hoko? Is that a new thing here?
Hoko, like again, I went to one Hoko that I remember. It wasn't like my thing.
Yeah.
My thing was getting drunk and kicked out of every sporting event that I've ever gone to, though. Like it just was. I always get into fights and all this crazy shit, but never knives, never guns, never vulgarity. Yeah, stupidness. Yeah, but it was just stupid drunkenness and maybe a little bit too much enthusiasm for your sporting team.
Well, to be fair, like this year, everybody spent a year locked up inside, right?
They're ready to kill.
Fucking crazy, man. Like, what did you think was going to happen, guys?
Yeah, day kills.
There's a lot of day kills that had to be made up. You know what? Day kills are probably going to get canceled too. It's weird.
Did you witness a day kill?
I've witnessed many a day kill. Yeah.
It's like a regular thing for you.
Witnessing them? Well, at Hoko's, yeah.
Yeah, because you're walking and there's a day kill.
Well, like you don't see two people boning in the middle of the street, but like if you go looking for a day kill,
it's
if
like
you
a
go
Waldo thing.
If you go navigate into the backyard behind
You'll see
a
a bush moving.
you
or
got
something.
people puking, you got people having day kills, you got people pissing, you got people
off the beaten path is where you'll find all the times.
It's a jungle, yeah. There's people it turns into a Walking Dead episode, man. It's like you ever been to like Veld or one of those festivals?
I've heard of it.
Oh yeah, dude, it's crazy.
So then let me ask you this. What do you think becomes of it all? So they're going to try to cancel it. They're not going to be able to. They're going to start ticketing and making it a crime. Mm-hmm. Then you're going to have to do something of it because
they just send me tickets in the mail. Like, it's fucking crazy.
You get ticketed?
Oh, yeah. I'm like 5,000 in the hole right now.
Trespassing?
No. So walking down a closed highway, that was $500. Attending a nuisance party because I went to a property because the fans there, they had a keg, and they wanted me to drink a beer from their keg.
Dude, you're getting
$800.
Inciting mutiny, all these like weirdo sort of things that don't exist, but they got monetary fines, so they just hit you with it to try to dissuade you from what they just want you to stop going.
Pretty much, yeah.
They
want everybody to.
Yeah,
but
right.
they make an example out of me, obviously, because I'm making a huge video about it.
Are there other ones, or are you the guy? Are there any other Jack Denmos that are doing this, or are
like
you the
Hokos?
Yeah.
Not at the same level, no. There's people that go and film it. Like, before I did it, other people filmed Hoko.
But you're the name.
Yeah,
so
now they're
looking
pinning
for
it on
you.
me.
They want you.
I'm the figurehead, yeah.
I mean, I'll say this. It's the best position to be in. You want to be the guy who gets all the tickets because you want to be the guy who is clearly not dangerous, but is purported as dangerous, so that people can see the absurdity of it all. It's the same as me. It's the same as me
you're
being
breaking the fourth wall. Yeah, don't tell them our secret, buddy.
Like, bro, I'm being sued for millions of dollars on this big
stirring
crazy
up controversy to
evil
get
dude.
eyeballs.
I'm like, what a gift! Like, send the cops to my house. Like, yes, please.
Yes, they sent the cops to your house because you tweeted that you were going to steal a walrus.
And I should say that when I tweeted it, I thought they might.
Yeah, they sent police to my house twice and my parents' house.
You filmed it?
I filmed a little bit of it. What I could. My roommate took his phone out and put a little above it.
Dude, millions of views I got. Millions of views. Perfect content. I thought to myself that morning, boy, if I can, or it was the evening before. If I could get Marineland to send the police to my house again, wouldn't that be wonderful? I could use some of that content. Dude, I know it sounds crazy. Conscious thought.
You know what? Now's a good time to do it because like I've gotten press on Hoko for a couple years now, but this year like 12 articles or something. Because,
dude, I can't believe it every time I look.
Dude, nothing else is happening right now. That's how fucking dead our country is. That I'm front page news for showing up in a fucking crown, knighting people.
When you approached me,
crazy.
I didn't know who you were. I did a little bit of research. I'm like, oh, fun. And then I saw you in real time on my TV every night for the next fucking 3 weeks. I swear to God, every time I turn on, I'm like, are you fucking kidding? I mean, not necessarily you, but the Hoko events that I know you're at because I go over to your fucking Twitter or rather your Instagram and sure as shit, it's like, that's the house and there's the fucking car and there's the fucking thing.
CTV London, man. Shout out to CTV London. Thanks for the press, guys.
So funny, man. It's so great.
Well, that's the thing, man. Like, all I've been doing essentially is trolling the media into making this into a blown out of proportion spectacle to get eyeballs on me because
good for you, bro.
I do want to change the world. But
wait, so you're a genius, it turns out. I thought that might be the case. I thought that might be the case.
You know, people want to see kids jump through beer pong tables and hook up.
Buffalo Bills, man. Everyone wants to see the table get smashed.
Exactly.
It's a tradition,
that's what you get them in, and then they get there for that, and then halfway through, I'm like, guys, I'm actually trying to change the world in a different way. But now that you're here, check out this other thing. And I tricked CTV into basically giving a huge ad for my podcast on the news.
Dude, it's so brilliant. I love it.
Yeah.
No, we think alike. It's good to know that, you know what, I'm proud of you, man. I feel as though in a way I'm looking back and I'm thinking there's still some fucking people out there that know what's up, that are able to see what is what and use that and have it, you know, not just benefit them, but exploit it for exactly what it is, just the absurdity of it. Me being sued for millions of dollars and jumping through hoops through the court system makes a mockery of the entirety of the system. And I love it.
I feel like it's going to end good for you, though. Like, you know, I think at this point, there's been so much press, so much
not if you look at the court
put out
system,
there.
Remember, I'm being sued for fucking millions of dollars. I'm in a fucking court that I'm going to be at some point a trial that Marineland can't come to because there's nothing of it. But there's no real, like in the States, you may walk away with millions of dollars. It happens in civil litigation.
Dude, the States are fucked, man.
Here, it doesn't exist. In Ontario, it doesn't exist. I'm staring at the prospect of exclusively losing money. But I only give a shit not to let Marineland have their way because it was their plan the entire time. So my thing is, I don't care how much it fucking cost me. Money is a concept that eludes me when I start seeing just when you say, hey, $500,000 got burned up in London because for a weekend of cops patrolling people partying. Then I say, what's money? Yeah. What's money? You know, what's money? So then they're suing me for all this money. And I realized at some point, I realized the number $1.5 million might scare a bunch of people. I thought, I'd rather it be 10 million. Make it fucking 20 million. If we're going to get crazy, let's have some fun with this.
What's the thing too? Once you start making money, you realize it's not all it's meant to be. Like, there's a lot of pressure.
I've yet to know what that's like because I've largely done the opposite. I've had to sacrifice. I've had to not make money to make the absurdity of what Marineland's doing, especially coming after me for $1.5 million. I mean, what? This is fucking Costco. This is Costco. This is fucking.
But it's Costco. All the place I shop, except this. This is from Banff National Park.
Hey, I got a Banff shirt too at home. I thought about bringing it today, but instead I brought my Eddie Bauer Costco shirt. So
there you go. Fuck yeah, Eddie.
I'm dadding over here.
I'm sure they could do some kind of fucking sponsorship deal with you. You know, help support the whales.
Hey, you know, I'm pretty good at. I'm a good salesman. I mean, when you say something to the effect of, you know, Phil, I think this ends good for you. I think it does in a different capacity. Maybe not in the end result that I want out of Marineland or a positive net result. Well, mind you, there are certainly lots to look forward to.
I did a little bit of my research, and apparently you've counter-offered them like, hey, just give up the fucking walrus, and let's shake
now it's
hands
2
and walk
walruses
away.
Because my walrus had a baby, so now it's 2. But
you're a grandmother.
Yeah, I am.
Congratulations.
Thank
brother.
you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, cool.
You know what's funny is people were congratulating me for being a grandmother, and I was like, okay, great, it's fun, and I like it. Yes, it's great.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm like factually, when my niece was, I think it's christened. Is that what it's called? Were they baptized? I'm not a real religious person. I just show up when they tell me.
Yeah, they did that to me, I think.
Yeah, I think I got one of those deals too. So when I went to that thing for my niece, my sister said, well, we want you to be like a godparent to them. I'm like, yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you. And she says, but your brother's going to be the godfather, but we're going to make you the godmother if that's cool. She's like, okay, fuck.
Whoa.
So I'm signed as a godmother to my niece, on a church document, actually signed under fucking godmother. And then, it's in French, but and then I'm a walrus surrogate mother, and now I'm a walrus grandmother as well.
That's like a world record, buddy.
Dude, gender fluidity is a thing, but have we gone cross species before?
Yeah, animal fluidity.
Here we are.
Well, that's another thing too. So much fucking fluidity going on nowadays.
A lot of fluidity.
Oh, it's a weird time compared to like how you grew up. Everything was way more chill.
Dude, the 90s. You know, I am a relic of and one of the rare things that is still preserved from the 90s, because I still
bump Nirvana, eh?
I still listen to Sonic Youth. I still watch Seinfeld and Simpsons. And fuck, it's the same thing. Like, nothing's changed for me. I still got my Doc Martens, my 10 holes on. Like, nothing's changed for me. My tattoos are so awful. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
But I think the world wins a little bit with that, because we need some of that 90s grit, man. Back in the 90s, can't believe I'm saying back in the 90s, but yeah, it was more, everything was tangible. You were on the streets. There was, cell phones didn't exist.
People used to talk to each other in real life, man.
I didn't think the internet was going to take off. There was a time when I thought the internet's not going to fucking take off. That's a tool of evil. The first thing I did.
That's a weird prediction, eh?
First thing I did with the internet was I Googled Marilyn Manson because I wanted to see what he looked like.
Whoa.
Dude,
did you know about the rumor about the ribcage?
Yeah, sucking his own dick.
Oh my God, this is so funny. I was telling people that, you know how there was a year off because of COVID?
Yeah.
I feel like none of those rumors were passed down to the new generation.
There's a gap now. That's interesting.
But you fucking knew that, and you're like 20 years older.
Yeah, but bro, I was there when that whole thing started. I mean,
holy shit.
There was mystique back in rumors that were not before the internet, because they were word of mouth, man. Like, back then, that was a word of mouth rumor.
That's so funny.
Yeah, that's
man.
Entrenched in me.
I was still there back then too. Fucking Marilyn Manson.
Yeah.
Shout out to you,
dude.
buddy.
Same as the band Tool. I never knew what did Tool look like. When I saw Tool in '96, seeing them for the first time on stage, I never knew what they looked like. So the first thing when the internet came is punch in your favorite bands and see what they look like. But I thought the internet was like going to be a tool of evil. I'm like, no, this is for people to find children. This is going to be an awful thing. I didn't think it was going to fucking last. But the 90s, remember, the internet was this very new thing. There wasn't a concept before that you could just sort of relate it to. You were just like, there's this thing now where apparently you can Google people shooting each other and eating each other's shit. It's like, what? That's not going to work.
First thing I did, I think, it's a funny story actually. My buddy came over one day. We were both like 7 years old. And he's like, hey, dude, you hear about this new thing? It's called Google. And I was like, no, what's that? He's like, anything you type in, it shows up. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah. What do we do? First thing we do, we look up naked ladies. We were like 6 years old, and we're looking at porn.
Welcome to the internet.
Holy shit.
Everyone wants to go to the darkest corner.
But then I went down this weird wormhole where like all these famous mysteries. I was very curious, right, about like, JFK and all these conspiracies.
At 7 years old, bro?
Well, maybe not 7. I was like, once I got over the whole porn thing. But I started looking up, like, I loved Nirvana, and I got down this wormhole about how Courtney Love killed Kurt Cobain, and then, like, there's all these investigation photos. Sure. So there's all these photos of, like, these famous dead people, and I was like, whoa, how the fuck is this all online? It's crazy. Now it's everywhere, though. But at the same time, they are drawing the line for what can and cannot go on the internet. I know Trudy Boy was pushing some kind of law about social media bullying or something.
See, and I appreciated the internet when it was wide open and what it was, because you chose to go where you wanted or not, and it was as simple as that. If you're going to places where you're committing a crime, then there's record of it, which is a good news. I mean, the internet is a public ledger; they can, for the most part, track you where you go. And so, if you want to do things that are going to get you in trouble, then go fucking ahead. I feel like life is that. We have laws not because they're meant to not be broken. It's meant that the people who choose to break them get in trouble for it. So allow for people to fucking operate already. Stop trying to pussyfoot every single fucking person out there.
Did you ever listen to Jordan Peterson?
Of course, man. Jordan Peterson's like my father in my mind. I mean, if not for that fucking guy, I'm not sure that I wouldn't necessarily have like, I'm not sure that I would have gotten through some dark periods.
He's a fucking G.
Yeah.
Me and my buddy...
He's a great example of how the media can demonize a fucking otherwise really great person, because you're looking at going, why is this person being noted as all this awful, dangerous person when, man, this man has a heart of fucking gold.
For 4 years.
Dude, it's crazy.
They just stopped going after him. They literally just stopped going after Peterson. It's crazy.
It's so
the nicest dude ever.
He's in tears over young men because he wants young men to be better.
Yeah.
And how people have and dude, like, no offense, but you're talking about date kills and this and that, and you say that you love Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson would not have a very kind opinion of people participating and being subjected to the environment of day kills.
I suppose Jordan Peterson understands, though, that day kills is merely a way to get people that are interested in day kills.
Well, of course, purely consensual
into the
Denmo
cult.
Well, wait, is that an entry thing?
Well, no, think about it this way, right? Like, what do people want to see? They want to see people partying, drunk. They want to see pranks. They want to see crazy movies, stuff like that. So they click for that. They watch it. And then slowly what I'll do is I'll drop these little wisdom bombs. Like, hey, guys, it's important to start a business. Hey, guys, women should not be the priority.
Your videos are comprised with these little sort of Jordan Peterson.
I sneak them in there, yeah.
I never saw that.
But look, if I did a video just like, you know, that didn't have any of that, nobody would give a fuck. Because
Dude,
why would they give me their attention, right? So I had to, over the last couple of years, get them in for one thing and then sneak in these little gems.
Bro,
and
that's
now
some dad
finally
shit.
Got the podcast.
That's some dad shit.
Right? Yeah.
That's
some
a gigabrain
bright
shit. I like that. No,
Yeah.
that's a really great idea. But you know, you've got the attention of the young people, and those are the people that I know. It sounds like a boring thing to say, but dude, if someone doesn't get to the young people and teach them financial literacy and relationship literacy and all these other things, if people don't go through their fucking bumps and everything else, then the future cannot be bright. Yeah. So it's great, dude. I wish people had taught, especially in school, I wish people had taught me about finances. You know, I'm almost 44 years old. I got a grip of it now, but boy, where would I be if 20 years ago I'd understood that saving money is an important thing.
Well, that's what I had a mushroom trip one day and I was like, life isn't about me anymore. It's about everybody else. And I was thinking about it like, because I got lucky. I was really into UFC and I always liked listening to Joe Rogan's commentary.
Did you see the Misha Tate shout out?
The what?
Misha Tate shouted out Save Smooshy
after
her last win.
No, awesome. I'm not on Twitter or any of that shit.
No, it was right after her UFC fight, bro.
Oh, yeah. I haven't watched for the last couple of months, to be fair. But this is my origin story if I got into it. Sorry. But I got into Rogan that way. And at the time, I was working a bunch of like really shit jobs. And one of them was actually working in a chicken factory.
Hey.
Every morning, dude, I would go in and kill chickens pretty much.
Did you wear the splash guard and got splattered and all that stuff?
So so there's like all these different jobs in the chicken factory. So whatever they needed me for that day, I would do. So sometimes I just had to have like a vacuum and I would suck the lungs out. Sometimes I'd hang the birds. Sometimes I'd put them down the vent. Just some outrageous shit. But I remember, Phil, every morning, it was like 4 a.m. I'd pull into that empty parking lot. Winter. This is out in Hagersville, too.
Dude, this is so grim.
Just shitty. I was
awful.
So depressed.
That's a shit life, yeah.
And I had this little iPod 4, and I had a bunch of classic rock and Nirvana on it. But I had this little Joe Rogan clip, and it was like just this little 3-minute, like, be the hero of your own movie.
Dude, I was about to take it out of your fucking mouth right there and then. Yeah. Wait, I'll tell you my story after. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I would just listen to that every morning, and I'd be like, okay. And then I would go into the factory for 15 hours and did that for a long time, man. And then slowly I made my way out. And another thing, too, that was cool about it is because inadvertently through my fandom of MMA, found out about Rogan. Then I found out about Jordan Peterson. Mm-hmm. And Peterson was from around here. He went to fucking, he was a teacher from University of Toronto.
York, is it UT? Yeah.
Yeah, so I was around the university age. So I used to go to all these weird events. And I remember he was going to speak at like McMaster and everybody would boo him and play animal noises so that he couldn't speak. So I got to live and breathe all that.
You were there? You saw it?
Yeah.
No shit.
And then get this. He came to Hamilton, and the weekend before, they had this big event. Anarchists, okay, who hate Peterson. They hate him. They had this big event, and basically they just bashed him. So there was artwork hanging up there that said, "Shit stain Peterson." Me and my buddy allegedly stole that from the book fair, okay?
Borrowed it.
Just
haven't returned it yet.
And then, anyways, we left that day. That night, my girlfriend at the time, she worked on Locke Street, which is a street downtown Hamilton. She called me in the morning freaking out because a bunch of bandits, bundled up bandits, giant pussies pretty much, threw bricks through all the windows on Locke Street. It was the anarchist weirdos. The same guys I stole the poster from, okay? Peterson was speaking.
They can use some Jordan Peterson in their life.
Dude, so get this. Peterson was speaking like a week later, and me and my buddy went. We got tickets. What was also cool, too, allowed is that my dad was there with his friends, and we didn't even plan it. So I ran into my dad with his buddies. So we had my dad's generation and my generation there. But me and my buddy, we put on suits, all slicked back, and we snuck backstage, and we met Jordan Peterson. We just bamboozled our way through. I got a photo, too.
So great, man.
So cool. But
it's so great.
I told him, like, we snuck backstage, and Peterson, his manager looks at me like, fuck, because that's a huge security gap, obviously. You know, the people were making death threats.
Well, with him, it was, that would be sensitive, sure.
But I was like, very straightforward. I was like, Peterson, dude, we totally snuck back here. But it's awesome. He smiled, he laughed, and he said, he's like, next time buy tickets, but always play on the edge of disaster. And I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, oh, wow. What a fucking line,
yeah, dude, I would love that.
So that's a good segue. And Another thing you said too about the rules, Arnold Schwarzenegger had a great line too. He said, break the rules, not the law. So
Yeah, I like that too. I like that.
Yeah,
I was going to say much of my journey in transitioning from being employed at Marineland to not was watching that fucking Rogan clip about being the hero of your own story. And what's so crazy is I went from listening to Joe Rogan's fucking voice in my head urging me to be the hero of my own story to literally having dinner with Joe on a number of occasions, getting his direct advice in my direct fucking ears. Like that dude's become, he is like, we're family now. I would have, what's odd about that is I'd hoped for that to happen. I don't know, a lot of people that would say that, but you get invited on the Rogan podcast and immediately you're like, wow. And this is 2013, before it was ever really that big. But
shit.
Yeah, but I knew that this long form thing was going to be best for me because I could see that the legacy media were putting my quotes down at the bottom of the pages and out of context, and this was not an avenue for debate.
Well, this is way better.
So then I see this thing. I'm like, okay, Joe Rogan. I remember him from Fear Factor, and he's got this red band dude, and the internet thing is sexy, and YouTube's fun, and holy fuck, I got to get on this show. When I got invited, I'm like, holy fuck, I got on the show, and then I thought, I want to be Joe Rogan's friend because who doesn't? And motherfucker, if within 6 months I'm getting calls, hey, you want to fucking go to UFC? You want to do that? Oh my god! Like he had saw a news article that Marineland got charged with animal abuse because they had. Some years ago, and he was just like, hey dude, let's celebrate. I'm like, oh my god, it's like living your dream, like frankly.
He must be fucking pumped then about this, eh?
Joe?
Like October 11th was like the last day they were open, no?
I haven't talked to him about it yet.
Oh.
He's so of late what I've done is I've asked him to retweet some of the videos that I've taken of the orca Kiska, because you know when Joe tweets it, obviously it gets a lot of attention.
Oh yeah.
But Joe hates the videos, the footage. He's always like, bro. I'm like, dude, I know you hate this. I'm on a mission, dude.
Oh, like when they bash their heads against the tank and
he
shit?
Hates it. So what I've done is
that's nasty, bro.
I haven't.
Fuck.
So he's retweeted the videos for me. Thank you. But he hasn't. We haven't sat down to talk and watch that stuff. I'm gonna do it when I go back. I'm thinking. I'm trying to tie when to go back on a number of things. Like I'm supposed to speak at some universities. I'm supposed to do some other podcasts, and I've got this pre-trial coming up at which if we go through it, then there'll be a date for trial. So then I'll have an update to give to Joe. I'll know what's going on with my walrus, because again, I'm still negotiating that. If Marineland wants to avoid pre-trial, just give me the walruses. It's not hard. It's fucking easy. We can walk away from this whole thing. You won't owe me a penny. I don't want nothing. Just move the fucking walruses. And you know, if they'd have just listened to me, if they'd have just done this in the beginning, there'd have been no documentaries. There'd be no fucking laws against them.
So what do you think is going to be the last nail in the coffin for Marineland? It seems like it's already pooched.
November.
This month. Or, well, a couple days.
Yeah.
Whoa. So what's happening this month, do you think? What is it?
You'll see.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah. I think that the month of November will be very telling of what becomes of Marineland and just what type of monumental challenges they have moving forward.
Damn.
Yeah. I'm very excited about.
So how many animals we got left that we got to fucking get out of there?
Well, I'll confirm 40 belugas next week, but there
Holy
could be
shit,
less.
There's that many belugas in there?
Less. There used to be 50. There used to be 55 or 58.
How much space do they have to hold all these things?
No, it's awful.
That's fucked.
But they're not allowed to breed them no more because of the law we passed, S203. So that's the good news. They can't breed them.
Are they going to bring them to the sanctuary in Nova Scotia?
I hope so.
That's part of the...
Well, I mean, that's
solution?
the conversation you want Marineland to come to the table for. I mean, there's a number of things that Marineland have for challenges. Number one, because of the law S203, they can't just unimpededly export their whales. They can't just sell them to China. The minister has to sign that the law itself, or that the move itself benefits the animal. So it's sort of like it's an aspect of the law that's pretty progressive. So Marineland's whales are for sale. We know that 5 got sold to Mystic Aquarium. The reason that the export was approved was because Mystic is a better facility than Marineland. So as long as the move is an improvement to Marineland's animals, then Canada will sign off on the export, which is good news. And the other thing is the laws have to actually follow the whales. So any whales that get sold to the States now, they still can't breed them. They still can't do any of the things that they want to do. So it actually lowers the attraction to those whales. The facilities don't really want them. So we're hoping now that there's so much red tape around exporting or selling these whales that the only option Marineland viably has is give them to a fucking sanctuary.
Yeah, holy
Give
shit.
a little fucking sanctuary. If you're for sale for $300 million, let's assume you get 150 of that. The owner's 80-something-year-old woman. She doesn't need much of it. There's going to be tax. There's going to be capital gains taxes to pay. So she would be incentivized to giving some monies to a charitable registered charity for the tax savings.
Yeah.
She's got one son who has 2 children and a wife, but he has no interest in running the business, nor does he have the capacity. So you've got to, if you're looking at $150 million, lose 50 to the sanctuary, even give $30 million to it. Save yourself some of the tax dollars of your capital gains, and then give yourself $30 million at 80 years old, and give $50 million to your son. And what the fuck else do you need, right? You're an 80-year-old woman. It all makes sense to me, just to very easily appease everybody. But Marineland would have to come to the table and pony up some of the money. But frankly, they're probably going to wind up giving some money to, for instance, a hospital or something else anyways. I mean, that's just what people with great wealth do when they sell or when they accrue great wealth, because also, capital gains tax.
So do you think you'll be able to get to chill with the walrus again?
Dude, I wouldn't still be going as hard as I am if I didn't think it. I mean, I believe it in my fucking heart that I will. I'm telling you, she's alive today because she's waiting for that reunion. Remember, she's an anomaly that every other walrus is dead, because every other walrus was separated from nature and brought to this environment, which sucked. But when Smooshy came there, I became nature to her. It became a natural environment because her mom was there with her. So she's an anomaly. Every time that she comes out on stage, all she does is looks for me. She doesn't perform. It's a fucking awful. It's just a total risk for them to still have her. So my guess is this year, if there's ever a year that I'm going to get her, it's this year. And if it doesn't happen, then it's going to happen anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, she's going to go somewhere.
So Smooshy would fit in at the Nova Scotia Sanctuary.
No.
Where would she have to go?
She'll need to find another place. But as much as
BC maybe?
Ideologues will say, Phil, fuck you for saying this, but there's a zoo in Quebec. It's not ideal, but it's outdoors. Quebec Zoo. They've got walruses. They got females.
Okay.
She could live with outdoors with species of her own animals, rather than the hellhole she lives in. Right now she lives indoors in a pool half the size of this fucking table. It's awful. It's hyperchlorinated. Yeah. All the animals are dying. So it'd be a heavy improvement. So if the Quebec Aquarium said, yeah, we got room, we'll take her. Dude, I could have her driven up there tomorrow afternoon. It's just a question of Marineland saying, fine. And if they did, I'd walk away from, I can't say exactly what I'll do because I actually can't legally say, or it's been in my best interest not to.
Allegedly, yeah.
I would make things a lot easier for Marineland. Clearly, I've made it very difficult, and the reason being that they still got my fucking walruses.
Fuck.
Well, dude, they didn't make it easy on me, so.
Yeah. So prediction time, obviously, we're very, Marineland's fucking burning to the ground. That shit's done. But zoos, I feel like one day it's going to be weird where we tell our grandkids, like, yeah, you used to be able to go and see the animals in a giant fucking cage.
The Bronx Zoo had a human on display.
What?
Yeah.
When was that?
They had
1900s?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So you're saying holy shit. So in the same way, yeah, I imagine someday they'll say whales in pools. Yeah, holy shit.
You ever seen the Tanzanian tiger?
I heard about it, but yeah, same. Like I saw the pictures.
Weird striped dog out in Australia.
Cool looking thing, right?
Super cool, man. Super cool. The jaw on it. The
freaky.
Teeth.
And only documented in the zoo, right? It's kind of a fucked up thing. It's you don't want to give the credit to the zoo, but we both know a picture of a rare animal.
I want to believe there's some. It's too bad we couldn't dive into this more. We're gonna wrap up soon, but I wanted to fucking get your take on like giant sea creatures that are out there in the ocean that we haven't found yet. Do you think there's any of that shit down there?
I don't think so.
No.
Maybe in the depths that we don't otherwise get to, but I've seen video of like some of the darkest places of the ocean and where some of the exploration vessels have gone.
Yeah.
And there are some colorful fucking animals back there, but they're all very small.
Have you seen the giant squids on the
I've seen the giant squids. That's insanity. That scares the shit out of me.
That's what I'm talking about. Those big creepy
That almost scares me more than I think I'm more scared of that because I think of how small its brain must be, and that you don't want to contend with someone with a small brain.
No.
You just don't. You can't negotiate with them.
No.
It's like try to negotiate with a shark, try to negotiate with an orca. One of them you can communicate with. The other one only sees you as a thing that's going to be passed through its asshole in a few hours, Yeah,
they got those creepy beaks too. Squids. Would you rather get fucked up by a giant squid or a shark if you had to die?
Which one's fastest? I think the beak sucks. I think the beak is going to be the worst version of it. Or it sounds like they'll eat me and I'll dissolve.
It tangles you and then it beaks you. Yeah.
No, I'll take the shark.
The shark, eh? Okay.
What's weird about this is my biggest my biggest fear in life is to get eaten alive by something.
Really?
It's a weird one. I think like in a past life I must
dude, I fucking worry about that all the time.
because the danger's
You
imminent
guys
out
watching
there.
out there don't worry about getting eaten by fucking animals. I do.
But dude, I was swimming with orcas, and then think about it. My fucking even as a child, it's like I don't want to get eaten by something. I don't want to get eaten by anything.
Humans? No, right?
It's not recorded in the wild, but there was an attack where
Some alleged.
no, there's a trainer that got ripped apart pretty awful. Her name was Dawn Brancho. Yeah, I was
Jesus.
working at Marineland and when it happened, and we had the orca that killed a number of trainers for that matter. We had his son. We had his son at Marineland.
Holy shit.
Dude, he was getting aggressive, and then SeaWorld sued Marineland to get him removed because he was going to fucking kill someone. And they won the lawsuit, and SeaWorld successfully removed Ikeka from Marineland, sent him to SeaWorld San Diego, and that's what's left Kiska alone. That's why she's alone now.
So there was a savage fucking killer whale that was killing trainers, and their son was in Marineland fucking
and he was displaying aggressive tendencies and depression, and so and because Marineland's owner wouldn't take certain precautions to make the environment more safe. Yeah. And SeaWorld was like, we'll be fucking damned if an orca kills another fucking trainer.
SeaWorld's still around? The fuck are they doing?
They're quiet, but yeah, they're still around.
How long till they're fucked too? Soon?
I mean, they're trying to revamp, so you want to give them the benefit of the doubt. Get out of the animal business and revamp.
They're trying to turn it around.
I mean, they're trying to turn it around to an extent. So they're purporting less. It's just like Marineland. You're not going to see commercials of animals jumping anymore. Never. No. You will have not. This year, you won't have seen it. You'll see rides. You'll see people walking around picnics, but you just won't see the emphasis on the animals. The same with SeaWorld. They won't be like, hey, come see our killer whales jump, because they generally don't even jump their orcas no more. Most of them are just on display. They don't even do shows.
Damn.
Yeah.
One thing before we go.
Sure.
You were talking about how you were in Thailand when that giant fucking... Well, you almost were.
Yeah. 6 months to the fucking day, man.
Dude, so sometimes when there's a crazy earthquake in the ocean and a tsunami, you get all these weird disturbances at the bottom of the sea level because the plates move, right?
Right.
There was a bunch of animals that normally are like 1,000 feet down below, but because of the because of the tsunami and the earthquake,
it churned them up.
A lot of them got churned up, alive too. So off the coast of, I think it was either Japan or
I've
Thailand.
seen these videos of these fucking weirdo things.
Have you seen the frilled shark?
I gotta see it again.
Kind of creepy.
Yeah, I've seen some weirdo things that.
I'll pull it up.
Yeah, do it. I've seen those things. I've seen those videos where these weird. Sometimes you wonder what's real or what's not. Some of these videos.
Oh no, this thing's fucking weird. So eventually, as I scale this production here, we're gonna hopefully be able to have like a fucking screen.
Yeah. Good
pull up videos and shit.
Be good. Oh no, this is definitely real.
Yeah. You got fucking budget Rogan here.
When you think of a shark, you probably think of this.
Yeah.
Or maybe even this. The creature's fear factor doesn't depend on its color or its shape or even its size. Or does it? If you thought this was scary, try taking a look at this. Yes, it is real and it's not something out of a horror movie.
She had to tell me it was real because I was like, is that?
Isn't that thing fucked? Look at those teeth. Yeah, check these out.
The species of prehistoric shark was filmed this week by marine park staff in Japan. It's called a frilled shark, and it's very rarely seen along.
Yeah, that's freaky, man. Yeah, I see why you ask questions like, what do you think's down there? When you see something like that, I say, I didn't know that fucking thing was
What
down
a fucking unit that thing
Jesus,
is, eh?
man. What a fucking, well.
It ended up dying because of the oxygen differences.
We always, we want to look outwards so much to find the aliens or to find all the fucking things. Dude, the exploration of the ocean, we haven't even scratched the surface yet. There's so many things down there. There's just no way of knowing for sure what, because we haven't been able to get to the depths.
Buddy, we got to do this again. We got to talk about the depths of the
anytime.
ocean,
I'm
man.
super stoked
Scrub down there, because I want to tell you the story about Moby Dick too. That's a crazy fucking story.
Dude, I could tell you I got stories. If you ever want to sit down and we'll sit down and we'll do the stories. We'll just exchange stories.
Just whale stories.
Yeah, I mean, I'll talk about swimming with orcas or scrubbing the orca tank and the different things that come of it. Like, I mean, Tragically Hip wrote a song about scrubbing the killer whale tank. Yeah. And what's funny is I was probably one of 5 guys in all of Canada that scrubs killer whale tanks.
It's kind of a flex, buddy.
When I think about the song, I'm just like, I think he's talking about me.
Yeah, that was you, buddy. Maybe. Well, before we wrap up, buddy, what can we do to help out the sanctuary and all that shit?
So sanctuary's at whalesanctuary.org. Check it out. Send them some monies. I'm savesmooshy.com if you want to help with my legal bills, because, it ain't easy.
Yep, saving whales ain't no fucking joke, guys.
I'm Walrus Whisperer on Twitter, Instagram. I'm Phil Demers on TikTok, imagine. I have Facebook. Don't follow me there. I can't wait to fucking delete.
We were talking about this
thing.
earlier. People that show up, like, you have fans that show up at your house sometimes?
I've had, because the documentary has my house and it's not hard to find it, there was a there was a period where I had some people coming around my house, but it wasn't like, it never got weird or anything. It was endearing a bit. It was fine.
Just a couple pizzas in order to the door, eh?
I mean, it's just a bit weird sometimes. It can be weird. Although the other night, I got to say, I was pretty stoked about this. I must have given the person my address, but they had said, I was on a live on Instagram. You know, I go live. I smoke my weed on there. Yeah. Smoking weed, and all of a sudden, Up in Smoke Niagara comes up. Who the fuck is this? Up in Smoke. I'm like, how come I haven't smoked your fucking smoke, Up in Smoke? Then they send me a DM. They're like, what's your address? We'll send you a little package. So, I mean, I assumed in the mail or in a couple of days, I send them my address. And I'm like, I'm away. I'm not home. I wasn't home. So, do a couple hours there. My door. What the fuck is this? I come down like, Up in Smoke. What's up? I'm like, what? Handing me like fucking stacks and stacks of buds and all this stuff. I'm just like, yeah, I'll take this visit any day.
So you got a bunch of fucking free weed, eh?
I get a lot of free weed.
You ever gone to Daykill from being a fucking...
No.
That's a story for another day, guys.
Yeah. You know what? I'll say this much.
Yeah.
You would think, although you know better than me, but then you're of a different era and a different a class, if you will, of just like of interested people. Yeah. But no, I don't get that. You would think, a lot of people would say to me like, oh, you'd think in the animal rights, you'd just be slaying girls and there'd be all this. No, I've got nothing but like this mass mutual respect thing to the point where they're all just like, you're such a nice guy. And the nice guy thing is maybe the worst thing.
We don't want that. We want, dude, we want bad fucking, bicep.
No, I'm a nice guy.
We want bad bicep Phil. Anyways, guys, Phil here, absolute fucking Canadian legend. And guys, thanks for watching this video. Hit the like button. Share it. If you're on Apple Podcasts, give a 5-star review. Say something about Smushy. And the best way for a podcast to grow is by word of mouth. So tell your friends to watch this. Tell them that your buddy Jack sent you. And check out Phil Demers, Walrus Whisperer on all social media platforms. And just be a better person in general. Okay? All right, guys. Peace.